Saving money won't make you rich. I wish someone told me this in the beginning of my entrepreneurship journey because I would have made way more money faster than I did. Because the problem with saving money is you actually end up putting yourself in a negative mindset. When you start overthinking about, okay, I only have X amount of money to spend on this. I only have this amount of money per month to do this. You start limiting yourself. And the reason why most people do that, if you're in your 20s and you're an aspiring entrepreneur or you want to be a business owner one day, think about it. If you're saving $100 a month, you're only going to be saving, like you're only going to end up with $1,200 at the end of the year. Even then, if you're saving $1,000 a month, you're only ending up with $12,000 at the end of the year, which literally is nothing. When you could be making so much more, what you need to focus on instead is learning high income skill, putting your time towards learning a high income skill so you can focus on making more money. And I want to share a story in the beginning of my entrepreneurship journey that I know will give you a better understanding and will help you just shift your frame when it comes to money and saving. When I was 18, I was working in a telemarketing office, 8 a.m. to 4:30, and after that, I would work as a busser around like 5:30. I was always a little bit late because I was coming back from my other job, and I'd be cleaning tables and stuff like that. So I brought in about $3,000 a month working my ass off right after high school. I wasn't going to college, just working my ass off like crazy. And I had to pay rent, so I had to pay $1,200. Then I had to pay groceries, which was like $250 a month as a 18-year-old kid doesn't really know what to buy. Then gas, which is like, I don't even know, $200. Anyways, you get the idea. At the end of the month, I would for sure be left with like, dude, I swear, only like $750. Even then, I had a girlfriend at the time, and girls aren't cheap, so I spent all my money on her. So I would always be left paycheck to paycheck. And the reason why I want to share this, I remember straight up during my lunch break at my job at like 12 p.m., I would not eat Monday. I would only eat like a banana and peanuts that I had from home for my groceries, whatever. I would have snacks for lunch just to save until Friday to take my girl out to a nice dinner. And I was able to calculate that because I was saving my money. Because I knew how much money I was making at the end of the day. I was not an entrepreneur. I was not a business owner yet. I knew for a fact I was bringing $3,000 or $2,500 a month, which literally is nothing. And I was struggling because money goes by like that. It's insane. So I started realizing there's no way I can, be left at the end of the month with $750 and maybe save $300 of that, right, a month. To be only left out with like what, $4,000, $5,000 at the end of the year? Like, what is this? And there's always like this big, well, I know there's a big thing as like everyone wants to make 6 figures a year, which is $100K a year. Dude, like, to be honest with you, the more money I make and the more records I break, I have realized this like a year and a half ago, that 100,000 6 figures a year is nothing. It literally flies. Like, I think you need 100K minimum to live your life and have, especially here in California, like, dude, it's insane. But I want to make this video to share with you guys that, you have to shift your focus on not saving money, but making more money. Because I grew up, everyone kept saying, hey, Adam, don't spend your money on dumb stuff. Don't do this. Don't do that. And I did live like that for the first year of my life after high school because I was kind of on my own. And then I realized, dude, like, I'm so young. This is my one life. I'm going to go spend my money on whatever I want to do. And if I lose my money, I learn my lesson. And so, yes, I burned through a lot of my money that I was making. But what I ended up cracking was investing in business owners and entrepreneurs that had the results and the goals that I wanted to do. Because there was a phase that I hit at 18 years old. I was like, dude, I want to be rich. I want to make money. But not enough to like, not money where it's like, I just want freedom. Well, freedom, I literally, freedom was the number one thing for me that I had because I had none of it. I was always caught up on my job. I always had a called in to obviously do something on a certain day, and I hated that. And not only that, I knew how much money I was making a month, and I knew how much I could only spend. Right, and then obviously if you have credit cards, then you can end up pretty tricky here. But if you focus on making more money, you actually open up a whole nother stream. Like it's like a whole nother neural pathway in your brain where you start to realize how much you can actually make. And so for me as an entrepreneur, especially in high ticket sales, my first ever goal was like that 10K mark, right? Because if you make 10K a month, that is literally 120 a year. And that's a lot of money starting off to some people. And me and my friends, we had a podcast. We were talking like we need $10,000 a month now to as a minimum. But $10,000 a month, okay, you make that. My rent is $5,000 a month. Okay, so cut that in half. Gone. 5K down the drain. Now I have groceries, which is like $600 a month, right? Then I have 2 cars of a Tacoma and Tesla, which is like $1,500. Gone, right? And then I have a girlfriend, which is like $1,000 a month. Like, think about it. And some people will look at me and be like, Adam, you're so stupid. What are you doing? I'm not worried about saving money. I'm not. I'm worried about spending my money, enjoying it, and then focusing on making more money. That's your goal. Like, for taxes this year, I had to pay a fat bill for taxes. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it is what it is. At 21 years old, I think it's a flex to pay that much in taxes. But my focus was, oh my gosh, I'm losing this much money. Like, especially in California, you get cooked out here. It's insane. There's always loopholes you can do, and I did my best. But you have to pay something. You can never escape it. And, what I took from this is, okay, I'm got to give that up. But now I'm focusing on how much I can actually make. So that's like one of the main things I can give to you is stop focusing on the negative. Stop focusing on how much money you have to save or how much this costs. Like, literally simply focus on a high income skill. That is it. For me, starting off, it was sales, high ticket sales in the online space. I learned how to sell for influencers and online coaches, selling their courses, their masterminds, their online programs, all that good stuff. And in return, I would get a commission. But I didn't always start like that. I had to go through a dark period in my life as an entrepreneur to value, the whole idea behind money. And you just can't have a mindset of saving. Like, yes, like, I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, burn all your money, burn all the bridges, burn all the savings and stuff like that. Like, no, like, still have some emergency funds for sure. But don't have your whole entire focus on, I need to have this amount and I need to have this amount. I can only spend this much, because you're genuinely, like, if I can go even deeper on this, you have your reticular activating system, your RAS. Okay, this is a part of the brain. What you focus on is what you get. So essentially, this is a filter that we all as humans have. It's a filter. For example, let's say you go to a Jeep dealership and you're looking specifically at a blue Jeep Wrangler. You like this blue Jeep Wrangler. You test drive it, you check it out, you figure out the numbers, see if you can financially afford it, and you end up taking a week to really think about whether you want to buy this blue Jeep Wrangler. And throughout this whole week of you waiting, at every stop sign and every light in your neighborhood, there's a blue Jeep Wrangler. You're focusing on what you get. The brain takes up 11 million bits of information a second. Unconsciously. Okay, this is a subconscious, by the way. Right, subconscious. And your brain takes, I think it's 30 to 40 bits per second consciously per second. Do you realize how insane that is? So the reason why I mention this is because if your mindset is focused on what you're saving and what you're losing and what you have to be focused on, that ends up being your RAS, your filter. And now everything that you see becomes, in a way, negative, whether you realize it or not. And so, like I said, shift your focus on how much you can actually make. All right? Simple stuff. I wish someone had told me this in the beginning of my journey, because I wouldn't have been at my job for that long. I literally wouldn't have been at my jobs, my 9-to-5s, my buster job for the amount of time I was there. And I'm glad, like, to say at 21, I've left early. But for you, like, if you're currently working somewhere where you're getting paid for your time, you're losing money already. I was getting paid for my time. It was a sales job. It was in person. But my biggest value and everything that I wanted freedom. I wanted more time to myself. I wanted to be able to do what I want when I want. And being held up somewhere, I wasn't able to do that. But it all started from the idea of saving money won't make you rich. It just won't. No matter how much money you save, like even then, like think about you're really not going to do much, especially like in California. You can't buy a car with, you can't buy a house, with what, 4,000, 5,000? No shot. And the thing for me is I want my results fast. That's the whole reason why I didn't go to college, is because I wanted to get what I wanted fast. I wanted my results. I wanted to make money. I wanted to travel. I wanted to buy my family nice things. And I knew going to school for 4 years was not going to make that happen. At least with the time gap that I wanted to. I respect my doctors, lawyers, all that good stuff, but I cannot do that. There has to be a moment in your life where you have to really ask yourself, essentially, is this decision or is this thought or me saving money here going to make me rich, or is it going to, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm 21. Like I have my Roth set up and all that stuff. Like I'm so fresh into the whole idea when it comes to like, Roths and all that stuff. But what's allowed me to make over $250,000 by the age of 21 in 1 year was getting rid of the saving money mindset. All my money, I put it into investments. I threw it into a business idea. I learned from those failures. I went to consultants. I really threw my money into those assets, and I ended up seeing my return just because of my mindset. And most guys, like I know guys that will trip over guacamole. Like they will literally look at, like they'll trip out for spending $3 at Chipotle for $3 Chipotle, like guacamole. It's insane. And so if you have to switch your mindset and genuinely realize that is not going to get you far, shift your mindset and you'll actually get the results that you want.